Gino Torretta, the Heisman Trophy winner, joins us on the Toyota of Hollywood hotline. He joins us every Thursday. And Gino, you're in California right now. That's your home state. You're getting ready to call the Cal game nationally on Touchdown Radio. Gino is the ambassador for Evening's Delight, South Florida's source for all outdoor kitchen, grilling, and tailgate needs. They have a full line of grills, smokers, charcoal, pellets, and fuel. If you know Gino, you know how much he loves to be behind the grill. Evening's Delight. They have 2 locations, Pinecrest and Davie. Evening's Delight is South Florida's source for big green egg grills, accessories, seasoning, sauces, and more. Gino, how is the state of California?
The state of California, it's the hottest it's ever been on a trip to in an October game. It was I landed about 10 o'clock last night, and it was still almost 80 degrees in downtown San Francisco. And for if anybody knows the Bay Area, usually it's freezing cold here right now, and the fog just lays. But it's going to be 90-plus degrees. It'll be more Miami weather on Saturday night than Cal Berkeley weather. So we will see.
And quickly, I got to go back. We're going to talk about the Canes VTech game. We're going to talk about the Cal game coming up. You're out there. But you talk about Evening's Delight, Solana. I'm blessed to say I can text Gino Torretta and ask him questions, and I hit him up about some grills. Evening's Delight people, I text a guy, and 3 people called me back. What grill do you want? Okay, let me see if it's in stock. Okay, send me an address for delivery. It was Gino, this morning when you sent me the number, bro, deliveries is already set up now. They're bringing it Saturday. It is the craziest thing in the world. I went on the website. I picked out what grill I wanted, and the delivery's already set up. Send me an email and number for a confirmation number. So if you're looking for anything outdoors, man, this Evening Delight, they blew my mind this morning, bro.
What pellets are you going with the grill? Are you going the signature, or are you going, like when I started, I would go hickory in there. I think that's a really good flavor. But now maybe I'm lazy. I just go with the signature that's just an all wood blend.
It's funny, Gino, because I'm a hickory dude because it's easy to find hickory chunks.
Right.
Because I was never a pellet guy. I was looking into the Traegers. I looked at like a Traeger 570. It was some numbers, and they were like, no, get the Traeger 680. So like they kind of guided me in the right direction.
Perfect.
But yeah, I gotta go hickory, man. I need that. I know the flavor of hickory. I know how my ribs are gonna taste when that hickory is on them.
Gino, do you travel with your like big green egg? Can you check that in?
No, you know what, they can't. I got patted down coming home from Auburn with a full-size can of shaving gel. I was like, dude, come on. How many flights have I taken in the last month with that in my bag, and you're going to pull it out at 11 o'clock at night when I'm trying to fly back to Miami? So it's just, certain TSAs are crazy.
I pray at TSA they don't open my bag. No. Please keep going. Please keep going.
Anything sharp or anything in here? Well, any of that stuff is all good now. Maybe you're just old enough to remember when it wasn't all good.
Yeah. They're like, nothing sharp, but it smells funny.
Mr. Crowder, why do you have 72 cans of Crowder powder in your bag?
No, he's got coffee grounds. Trying to throw off the sniffing dogs.
Ain't no coffee.
So again, Gino Torretta, he is the ambassador of Evening's Delight, and he joins us every Thursday. Gino, let's start with the VTech game. Everybody has a take on it. We've talked about it ad nauseum on our show. Bottom line, the Canes, they escape with the victory. I wonder, A, what you thought of the final decision, and B, are you impressed that the Canes didn't look good in the first half? Cam Ward, finally, we see him struggle a little bit. Really, the offensive line struggled as well, but they still were able to figure out a way to pull out the dub.
I don't necessarily I'm not as concerned with the offense. I mean, with the amount of points they put on the board, I'm kind of fine with that. I thought, you get used to making certain throws, and he's trying to throw a wheel route, to Restrepo in the red zone going in the end zone. And basically in zone coverage, the guy just kind of baited him. All right, you want to throw that flat, throw it flat. But when you throw it flat, I'm going to pick it off, because had he just put some air under it, throw it to the back pylon, give Restrepo a chance, that ball's not picked off. I just thought the mistakes of the offense, listen, those are going to happen at times. I was more concerned with our run defense. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but when I see a knee brace on old boy, the running back, I'm like going, oh, we got this guy. He can't run. He outran our whole defense for I don't know how many yards he had, but I'm like, that dude was moving. And, obviously that was the concern, a lot of missed tackles. I know they were preaching on that in practice all week. Listen, the last play, I was watching the game in Atlanta, and I just thought the ball never stopped moving. And if the ball never stopped moving and then that player did not end up with it, it's not a catch. But I also understand the fact that if it was a called touchdown on the field and it's not clear, irrefutable evidence, most of the time the call stands. So did they dodge a bullet? I think they probably dodged a bullet. They just, the defense didn't play well, and they dodged a bullet. But the craziness is nationally, they're like, oh, this is a conspiracy. I mean, come on. You think the officials in any conference are like, boy, these guys are still undefeated. Like they give two bleeps about, who's winning the game. That to me is just a ridiculous argument.
That's how you know the U's back, Gino. Everybody's mad about the Canes winning a controversial game. That's how you know the U's back, baby.
You know what? It's funny, Solana, is I went into Home Depot this week, and a guy goes, oh, they're going to lose. And listen, they don't know who I am. I'm, just a average 50-some-year-old white dude in there trying to buy something. And I go, well, why do you say that? He goes, bro, I'm from here. It's the city. You start winning a few games, your chest is out, you're getting all big, and then you're just gonna slip up. And I thought I thought that was funny because he was just like, it's just the city. We get arrogant. You know how it is. We get a little success and we don't know how to handle it. But he's not old enough to remember how we kicked ass and handled it a long time ago. So,
and yeah, Gino. So the narrative with that game would be, you had some trouble. You had a little adversity, and you fought through it and ended up winning late. That was a big moment in the game. But to your point, because I was telling people, same thing. People come to me all the time now about the Canes, and I'm an honorary member this year. Thank you so much.
You're on the bandwagon. All right.
Let me on the wagon. I appreciate it. But it was the little guys. To your point, I wasn't gonna the D-line, O-line. I'm watching them play, and they can play. It's what we were kind of talking about through the summer, where can these DBs hold up against those top SEC teams, those big time schools? Can the receivers get separation against those All-American defensive backs? Did that waver at all, or was that just the game that they needed to lock in and figure it out? Because Cam started hauling ass. I didn't even know Cam could run that fast.
Oh yeah,
Cam pulled that. He pulled that thing down, Gino, a couple times. Was like, the hell with that. Let me go get this first down.
I mean, all you had to do was put a 3 after that 1, and he would have looked like me out there on my scampering ability. But no, listen. Offensively, I'm not concerned. You put up 35, 38 points, whatever their final number was. I mean, you should win most games. And it's just the run defense and the missed tackles. And listen, over the last, let's say, 15 years. We've watched a lot of defenses that missed a lot of tackles by the second line of defense, and that to me was the most concerning part of the whole deal. And listen, Cal's got Jaden Ott, and he's been banged up. He got hurt their first game, but he came into the season. He was averaging 95 a game on the ground and 120 all-purpose yards. This dude can play, and if he's 100%, these guys have had 2 weeks to prepare. If you don't shore that up and you don't get him to the ground, it's going to be another problem. And the late kicks just absolutely suck. I mean, I remember playing Arizona my junior year. We flew out to Arizona. We played same thing, 10:30 Eastern kick. Man, at halftime it was 2 a.m. our time. I was exhausted. Like I could have literally, if I'd have caught in my locker, I could have fallen asleep in a locker room, and that concerns me because it's going to be the same case, this Saturday.
I think, Gino, that people are kind of forgetting what they thought of that Virginia Tech matchup on paper coming into the season, because that was one of the games people pointed to and said that's going to be one of their tough ACC games. Obviously, they had a couple of close losses, now a third one to Miami. But do you think, how beneficial was it for Miami, who had blown out the teams that they had previously played, to have a game like that where they had to kind of fight for it, come from behind late? How beneficial do you think it was for this team with the aspirations that they had?
Well, I think it tests them. You know, I think you're right. It's funny because nobody remembers, because everybody was saying it's Virginia Tech. They're the sleeper in the ACC. They got 20 guys returning, all these starters, and their quarterback has just had a pedestrian start to the season. He was completing like less than 50% of his passes. Hell, listen, Josh, you've been down here long enough. We've made some quarterbacks at Virginia Tech a lot of money. We made Tyrod Taylor All-American. We made Logan Thomas, who ended up being a tight end in the NFL. He threw for 450 yards on us in Hard Rock. I'm like going, what is it? Virginia Tech quarterbacks against Miami just light us up, and the guy came to life and made some plays. And I think what it does for any, you know, what does Saban call it? Rat poison.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you start getting patted on the back. Any young kid, man, they start off 4-5-0. They're thinking, man, chest out. You know what? We're going to the playoffs. It's a lock. Miami's a lock. Florida State's not very good. Clemson's not very good. Miami's just going to walk into the playoffs. It brings you down to earth pretty quickly to say, you still got to play them 60 minutes every Saturday, and you better bring your A game, else you are going to get beat.
And Gino, what? No, I had to ask him. What kind of sideline pass does Michael Irvin have? Because I go to Florida games and they don't let me do the Michael Irvin. What does he have around his neck?
Well, I would say the funny thing about our sideline pass. So, you know, if you remember, we got in trouble for some sideline issues prior. so like hell, when I was playing, Luther Campbell was on the sideline. We had 2 live crew. We were wearing the bandanas. We had the party. We had the party going. I mean, I remember Gary Sheffield and Benito Santiago playing with the Marlins. They'd be on the sidelines, and it was a party. So to be on the sidelines, you either have to be, I think what it is, you have to be an NFL Hall of Famer, College Hall of Famer, or I think maybe an All-American. So they haven't let the players back on the sidelines. Michael is always allowed on the sidelines. And I would say this, I don't care what pass Michael Irvin has, or even if he has a pass, or even if security would stop him on the sideline. Because I guarantee you, if you watch when he was going crazy on the sideline, and listen, I don't know what he was saying, and I'm sure the guys probably didn't understand 90% of what he was saying, but ain't nobody getting him to stop. Whatever it is he was saying, man, I was hype. I was like, holy cow, Michael looks like he's going to go out there and put 47 on it and run some corner routes and some bang eights on Virginia Tech and take over. But, his pass is his carte blanche. I don't know what it says, but it's different than my pass and everybody else's pass.
Gino Torretta, again, the ambassador for Evening's Delight. He will be on the call. You can listen to the game on QAM, but he will be on the call nationally on Touchdown Radio. Gino, is Cal good? I can't figure this out. I know we talked about Jaden Ott, and if he's healthy, he's obviously a threat. And everybody knows about Cal's quarterback, Fernando Mendoza, went to Columbus. He had a couple comments a few days ago where he was saying he respects FSU, UM a lot. He grew up in this area. He wanted to play there. It didn't work out. He went to Cal, and it's obviously working out for him. But Cal has a road win at Auburn, which I don't care what Auburn looks like this year. That's pretty damn impressive to go to an SEC school on the road and beat them. But then they lost to FSU, who might be the worst team in the ACC. Is Cal good?
Cal has forced 11 turnovers. They got 10 picks early in the season. So they've been fortunate. They create turnovers. Their defense, listen, Josh Wilcox is a head coach because he's a great deep coordinator, cut his teeth at Wisconsin, a bunch of places, Oregon, and he can devise a defense. Offensively, defensively they've given up less than 14 every single week. So yes, they can play defense. Offensively, and I would just go to last season, I did USC at Cal. And it was more of, hey, I wanted to come home and see my mom and family. And it ended up being a great game with Caleb Williams. And I was like, who the hell is Francisco Mendoza? And how does a kid really should have beat USC in that game? And he outplayed Caleb Williams. The kid's accurate. The kid's tough. He's got some moxie to him. He doesn't make mistakes. And when you have a guy like that in college that can operate and has some weapons around him, yeah, they are good and they can play. And, dude, they've had 2 weeks off. they've had a week off. So, that to me is what concerns me the most about this game is the week off.
I mean, you mentioned, Gino, a little bit earlier just about the travel aspect of this. And in years past, different versions of this Miami team have gone to places like UTEP for the Holiday Bowl and dealt with cold weather there and not performed well. They've dealt with quote-unquote cold weather in Orlando and not dealt with it well. There's just different instances over the years where certain travel aspects of where they go affect them negatively. You alluded to it a little bit earlier, but how much of a factor do you think that'll be for this group going to the West Coast, playing at that time?
Well, I hope it's not too much of a factor, but they're used to practicing at 9 in the morning, and they're going to be playing at 10:30 Eastern, their body clock time. So that is a big difference. They changed up their routine. They're flying out there today. So that's an extra day of travel. Channing, you played in the West Coast in your career. I don't know what the right answer is. I've been on teams in the league where you go out a day early to the East Coast and you see if you can acclimate. To me, I think you keep it the same. I wouldn't have come out till Friday because the travel day you lose practice time anyway. But it is whether you're playing a game trying to play your best level, your body clock is for real. Like at 10:30 at night, you're probably thinking, hey, you're winding down. Your body's thinking at that time. But now they got to ramp up. The weather is going to be hot and that, so they're going to be fine that. I'm concerned on the body clock issue, especially because their practice time is totally different than their game time this week.
Nah, Cam Ward, he spent some time over on the West Coast. He'll be fine. Come on. And Gino, I believe when Washington State and Cam Ward played at Cal, they ended up losing, but he had a big game. Like, their defense just gave up a bunch of points. So
Solana, you realize like Washington State to Cal is like at most a 2-hour flight, and I just flew out here last night. I think it was like 6 hours. You realize there's like the same time zone and a 2-hour flight versus 3 hours difference and a 6-hour flight. You realize that, right?
No, I don't.
Okay. I know you're geographically challenged, and you know the little the little peninsula state on the bottom southeastern corner of the United States.
Gino,
I'm just trying to give you a little geography lesson. We're on the other coast. We're not on the Fort Myers West Coast. We're on the West Coast in California.
He makes him going to Fort Myers.
Gino, I flew to North Carolina right as they got hit by a
I know. You know what? That's what I want. I wanted to talk about what the hell. I told you, I was like, man, get out of there. Of all the people that's been through hurricanes, and you're dumb and your crew go in an Airbnb right before a storm. And then when you realize, I mean, like, listen, when the news says major flooding and all that's going to be hit, and I'd be like, all right, get me out of there. I mean, you couldn't find an Uber to get to wherever some deliverance cabin you were staying in. You should have known at that point in time, go to a hotel, spend one night, and just the hell with it. We need to get out of here.
Yeah, not my wisest decision. The funny part is, like, the last person I had contact with was Gino bleeping Torretta. Like,
hell, you know what? I was concerned with you, and I texted Hawk. I said, dude, is Solana all right? Like, do we need – I mean, I got some buddies in the town. Do I need to – and Hawk was like, hell, I don't even know where he is. He could have given to you know what's about you. So
he enjoys the deliverance cabin, though. He wanted to be up there.
I'll say it again. What happened at 2 Reuben Road stays at
near.
No, guys, come on back, guys. Come on back. No, come on back.
Gino is the ambassador again for Evening's Delight, and he joins us courtesy of Evening's Delight. 2 locations, Pinecrest and Davie in South Florida, and they are your source for Big Green Egg grills, accessory seasoning sauces, and more. Gino, have a great call this weekend or on Saturday. Again, Touchdown Radio nationally for UM Cal. Bring us home another W. Thank you.
Appreciate it, guys.